YOLO Composing Gloves here, and today I just want to give you a little bit of warning about panning in FL Studio. You can actually mono out your track if you are not careful inside of FL Studio simply by panning, something that you would not think would do this. It's a little bit complicated, but I just want to show you this because it is definitely something you want to know about. So here, if I play a sound, I have a stereo sound here. Give a listen to the reverb. Okay, very stereo, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to route this to these two channels here. Then on each channel, I'm going to pan one hard left and I'm going to pan the other hard right. And I'm sending both of these to the master. So you would expect, this is the left, this is the right. That's no different than sending the left and the right out. So we should get a stereo track, like the exact same thing we had before, right? But if I play this, it's mono. Now, what's going on here is FL interprets panning a bit differently than two independent channels. It actually does this whole cross-channel mixing thing where essentially if you pan hard, it's going to mono the track out and then send that out the left or send that out the right. Why this is done? You got me. I don't know why. It's a bit strange. There is a way to get true left-right though out. What you can do is you can open up a stereo shaper and this can do it. Now here I've got only the left, so I'm going to turn that on. And then on the right, I've got only the right. I'm going to turn that on. So now I'm sending it out to these two tracks. They're going to hit the stereo shaper and mute the channels, and we will get our stereo signal back. There it is. So when you're mixing and you use these knobs, you want to be careful because indeed you will get the impression of a pan sound. Like if I take these off, route it back out the master, and I play some notes, and then I pan it a bit. It sounds panned. It does the job. It's got the effect. There it is. This is one way of accomplishing the effect. But if you're doing routing that involves, something more complex, you've got signal chains going on. There are things that produce stereo images, and then you do panning maybe somewhere along the way. Things can get screwy. This is just something you really need to be aware of. And let me go ahead and show you an example just to sort of show you this in another DAW. So here's Studio One. Studio One, I've got a patch here. It's another instance of Zebra. Now the channel itself has been muted. I've turned the fader all the way down. I've got two sends that are set to pre-fader. Those are going to two buses. Now, if all that mumbo jumbo is like, because you're an FL guy, all this means is I've got it set up the same way I have in FL. Essentially, I'm just sending the signal to two buses like I had there. And this is my left bus. This is my right bus. And if this behaves like FL, we would expect a mono signal out, which doesn't really make that much sense. We really want a stereo signal. Now, if I play this, it's a different sound, but we see it's still very stereo. And if I mute one, there's the right, there's the left, and this is exactly what you would expect to happen here. Where in FL, you have to open up like a whole separate plugin. So this whole thing is just a strange thing. It could come up in weird places where you wouldn't think this would be an issue, and then all of a sudden, it kind of becomes one that the panning is just unusual. I still use these pan knobs. Like if you look at my own mixes, I'll even automate them. But you're essentially automating also sort of a mid-side kind of a thing. Anyways, that's that. If you have any questions about this, let me know. Just sort of wanted to make you aware that these are things that happen in your mix. And when you touch these things, you might be destroying something else you were doing without realizing it. It is a bit odd. Subscribe and have a blessed day.